Second, this fourth generation is also mentioned in another prophecy. The prophecy in Genesis where Allah informs Abraham of the bondage of his seed. And he, Allah, would bring them out of their enslavement with great substance, meaning that they would go into bondage and that he, Allah, would bring them out with great substance. Well, this prophecy continues. It states, "But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full." Let me read that verse again. "But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed I have given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river of Euphrates." Well, this is a prophecy. So the Amorites here are the enemies of God's chosen people, according to the remaining verses of this prophecy. This refers to the Caucasian people, whom 4 generations after the appearance of the Son of Man, the Messiah, to redeem the children of Israel, will make a last-ditch effort to destroy Allah's chosen people. And this is underway as I speak these words. How so? Well, the obnoxious, media-manufactured sympathy for the plight of the enslaved black people of the United States is already beginning to wane, and is being coupled with other wicked schemes such as the putting forth of social and political initiatives crafted by our mortal enemies, but making these initiatives appear to be coming from so-called black leadership. Who is this black leadership? Is it Black Lives Matter, or BLM, as it's called? Is it black entertainers and sports figures who are now rising up against racism? Is it black politicians and civil rights activists? Well, according to the Messianic Prophecies being fulfilled today, regarding the coming of Allah, Master Fard Muhammad, to redeem his chosen people, he did not and does not require police departments to be dismantled because of the vast brutality they have poured upon his people since their inception many years ago. He, Master Fard Muhammad, did not and does not require police departments to be defunded in order to direct more money to community programs where his people have been colonized by their enslavers. What he required and requires is the complete separation between the black people of the Western Hemisphere and their Caucasian tormentors. And this requirement will be achieved even if he has to destroy the United States of America and chastise millions of Caucasian and black people. Now, hundreds of U.S. troops are beginning to return to the United States after being pulled from the Middle East and other war zones. So with failing state and city budgets, due in part to the way the government handled COVID-19 crisis and their creation of the crisis, or at least in their response to it, the sentiment among those who are responsible for these budgets is something like, why should we pay for a police force and police departments when we are already paying for armed services and National Guard? Now, from what I understand, New York and other states are going to have a rough time because they don't have the tax base coming in as they once had because the businesses have been closed. So they're going to have a problem funding services. So from what I understand, and for a myriad of reasons, some of these state governments will be cutting police budgets. Well, if you're already paying for the services, the armed services and the National Guard, why do you need a standing police force? So the die is being cast by the synagogue of Satan for martial law to be invoked in the inner cities in particular, especially when every action to a wicked atrocity, as a killing of a black man or woman, is also accompanied, the protests accompanied by the destruction of property. So the effort is to justify the violent annihilation of black youth who are, for the most part, leading this charge. And of course, as economic conditions continue to worsen, we'll see more protests.